So we have this 2015 Denali in here again, or still. The P0430 code for the catalyst deficiency hasn't returned, fortunately, so we're going to hope we dodge that bullet. But it has a service driver assist system message that comes up. I believe it has a problem with one of the vibrating motors in the driver's seat, because I believe it has a code. So we're going to scan it. Fuel level low, that's beside the point. Scan it and see. I think one of these motors in here, I think there's two motors, one on each side of the seat, that vibrate when you get close to something with a sensor. But we're going to see what code it's generating. So here's the results of the network code scan. We have a U0422 invalid data received from BCM in the ABS module. Right front tire pressure sensor, left front tire pressure sensor. The tire pressure, there's two dead tire pressure sensors, so I'm going to replace those. Camera system front view, system disabled information stored. So I believe the ABS module is logging a fault code against the BCM because of the TPMS. I've seen this before on GM trucks. If the tire pressure sensors are dead or not learned or defective in some manner, the ABS module logs a code against invalid data from the BCM. But I'm not 100% certain of that. We'll find out once we change the TPMS sensors. System disabled information stored, B1011, I'm not sure, but that could be why the service parking assist, and there's no codes in that. Oh, there's the driver's seat module. It's driver's seat left rear haptic movement motor control circuit short to ground. Wow, that's a mouthful. Haptic movement motor. So there's a couple of issues with the driver assist system. Control module communication chassis expansion CAN bus off. Global positioning system signal open. Wow. Tire pressure sensors. Oh, finally the furnace shut off. But as you can see, the catalyst monitor is running past, so that's good. Alright, well, let's figure out what this camera system disabled, this B1011 is. So here is the description for the B1011 code, system disabled information stored. It has to do with the front view camera module permanently monitoring serial data for error messages. When a malfunction is detected by the front view camera module, the system will be disabled and an error message will be stored in the front view camera module disable history buffer, which is used to store information about the front camera features that are disabled. Now, I was driving this into town 2 days ago and it was freezing rain. And I noticed when I came to a stop after a short run on the highway that the message came up on the dash saying the system was disabled or something along those lines. And when I got out of the vehicle at work, there was ice covering the front sensors because I was driving in freezing rain. So chances are that's all that's wrong with this. I don't recall that code being there last time I scanned it, but looking at the front view camera disable history, it says it's normal now, dynamically calibrated, but the front view camera disable history, history 1, invalid data received from yaw rate sensor module. Front view camera disable history 2, sensors obstructed. And front view camera disable history 3, lost communication with steering wheel angle sensor module. And disable history 4, non-driven wheel speed signal invalid. So I think the best thing to do here, there must be a way of clearing this disable history and resetting the codes. I don't think clearing the codes is going to disable this. Let's see if there's a process. I don't see it in here. Functional test. Output controls. Clear disable history data. We don't want to do a front view camera learn because I don't have all the necessary targets and whatever are necessary. Clear. Transmission must be in park or neutral. Well, it is in park or neutral. Maybe that worked. Let's see what it says. Shift transmission to park or neutral. Start and idle the engine. Well, let's do that. So now we have the engine running in park. Let's see if it'll clear that disable history. That's complete. Let's go back in and look at it and see if it is in the data showing that it's cleared. Empty, empty, empty. Okay. Now I wonder if that cleared the codes. Alright, let's clear the codes from the front view camera module and display the codes. Now I'm at this point going to assume that the problem was due to ice on the sensors. Invalid data, I think that's due to the tire pressure sensors. Next up is this driver seat haptic movement motor. So let's do a little research on that. I'm going to clear that code in the driver's seat module and see if it is gone. It is gone. See if there is a functional test to command those. Driver's seat left rear, that's when it was, left rear haptic movement. Let's try commanding that on. See if that generates. I don't see that there's any data related to that. Driver seat back position, horizontal position. There are several data lists here. Let's change the data list. Adjustable pedals, mirror, memory data, steering column data. Well, you would think it would be in the first data list, but pedal position. This has memory seats and memory pedals and memory steering column. Yeah. Well, I'm just going to try and operate it and see if it resets the code. Enable. Disable. Let's see if the code came back. The other thing to do is to try to back up towards something, because when the sensor detects that you're about to hit something, the system makes the seat vibrate on that particular corner of the seat. Well, let's look at what causes that code to set. So here is the fault description for the B172E driver seat cushion left rear haptic alert motor control circuit problem, and it's a failure code 02, which means a short to ground theoretically, but could also be, well, 01 is open high resistance. The haptic seats, also known as safety alert seats, provide a vibration to alert the driver in certain circumstances. There are two motors in the driver's seat cushion. Either the right or left motor can run, or both, depending on the alert. The seat memory control module provides the output voltage for the motors. The seat memory control module receives serial data requests from other modules to activate the appropriate seat motor with the number of pulses requested. While the motors are activated, the seat memory control module checks for either shorts to voltage or shorts to ground, so it only looks like it monitors the circuit when it's activating them. Due to the nature of the pulse width modulated signal, if a motor circuit is open, it may be reported as either a short to voltage or a short to ground. So it's being reported as a 02, which is a short to ground, but here it says an open circuit may be reported as either a short to voltage or a short to ground. So it could be reported as 01 or 02. I checked with the dealer. They have replaced a few this year. They're not super expensive. I think they said they're around 80 bucks. I don't know what's involved in servicing it. Probably the seat has to come apart. But I'm still investigating. Let's go back to the diagnostic suite here. I've got the vehicle key on, engine off, and I'm going to try and command the other seat motor. Driver's left rear, driver's right rear. Let's try that one and see if we can hear that one running over top of the silence in the shop now. Oh yeah, that one definitely runs. I could hear it. Let's try the left rear one, which is setting the code. Do we really need all this technology? There's no sound whatsoever from it. Now you would think that because it's commanding it on now, it would set a code. No, it doesn't specify how long it has to be non-functioning. And of course that bidirectional test may not qualify for the criteria for setting the code, but definitely there's a problem with it. So I'm going to look up what's involved in servicing it. So I was right, the seat has to come out and the seat cushion has to come off. That's the two motors, and it's this one here that's not functioning. It says remove the driver's seat or passenger side, remove the front cushion and cover. See front cushion and cover and pad replacement. Let's click on that link. Disable the SIR, remove the driver's seat, remove the front cushion, outer cover, finish. Yeah. I hope we don't have to do anything with stitching, so I got to remove this plastic trim. I love the way GM shows you, refer to this and then refer to this and refer to this. But nevertheless, it looks fairly common. I've got one ordered and it won't be here till next week, so we're going to address the TPMS and go from there. So that particular motor lives right in here. It's actually pushed into the foam. There are two clips on the cover under the front seat. You can pry them off, and there's one in here that you can pry off. Then you can lift the cover up, and if you look in there, you can actually see a broken wire, and it attaches to the motor. I'm going to try to get the camera in here, right there by my thumb. So I'm going to pull the motor out of the sponge and try and fish the thing out. I thought I could take this cover off, but it doesn't come off that easy. But anyways, so you can see that harness. I'll try and reach up in here. No, I can't get at it. But I'm going to try and service this without taking the seat out. So there's the motor. It just pulls out of a little pocket in the seat, sits up like that, right in this sponge. And of course, every time you get in and out of the vehicle, it pushes down on the sponge and flexes these wires. How the engineers couldn't realize that that was going to cause the wires to break. Now to fish the connector out, that's going to be fun. So if you go under the back of the seat, lift the seat right up, you'll see this connector right here. This is the seat motor haptic connector, and it's clipped in right there. I pulled the wiring harness out of the seat. You can see it's actually broken in two places. That's just poor engineering. So you can see that when the seat cushion goes up and down, this is automatically going to flex. If it was broken down further, I'd try to fix it, but considering the part's not that expensive, we'll just replace the part. It's inevitable it's going to happen again. If you use softer wires, or maybe ran the wires differently, you might avoid that. So I decided I had nothing to really lose except a few minutes here to splice some wires. So I managed to cut this off, and I made the splice and folded it up so that it hopefully won't bend there. And I used some speaker wire to attach it in these uninsulated butt sleeves, and a little bit of heat shrink, extend the wires, make the joint somewhere else so that this part of the wire will bend with the seat movement, and we'll put it back together and see if it works. So I've just plugged it in under the back of the seat here, and I'm going to use the command here to make it work. It vibrates like crazy. Why did it stop? I guess it only vibrates for so long. Well, we'll try and put that back in there and run the wires back up, down through the seat and plug it in. So if you stuff a light underneath here, you can see that spot where, can't get out of the camera in there, where the seat motor goes in. There's like a hole in the seat here, so it's hard to get in there with the camera. So now that I've got it in here, I'll try and show you where it is. So you just push it up into that hole in the seat, and then fish the wire down through and plug it in the back. So probably the hardest thing to do is to clip this piece of leather upholstery back onto the edge here. The front ones are easy, you just slip them up and they snap in place. So it's back together again. Oh, that's a nice vibration. So we'll clear the code. So we're going to rescan it for codes. No codes. Well, I did call the dealer and cancel that order. I mean, it's only $75–80 for that motor, but what's the point of putting a new one in there when it's not designed any differently, and it's going to likely fail in the same way. In fact, I think my repaired wires, because they're longer now and bending over a greater distance rather than a sharper bend, are probably going to last longer than a new one will. So that's quite common for that one to fail on the driver's side, because every time you get in and out of the seat, you roll across that cushion and flex the wires. So that's it for now. I'm going to change the TPMS sensors and recode it, and I'm sure that that's going to get rid of the TPMS codes. And we'll see what happens with that camera system. I have to drive it and see if it acts up. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching.